Welcome to the Diabetes Revolution podcast with Dr. Sarah Townley, the type 2 diabetes coach, clinical pharmacist, and mom of 7 angels. You don't have to struggle and fight with your blood sugars for the rest of your life. I'm here to teach you the skills you need to control and even reverse this disease. There is such a thing as getting off your meds and creating a future free from diabetes. And you can have it too. Let's get down to business. Guess where I am? I am doing something radically different from my usual. I am in a hotel, and I'm about 10 miles from my house. My house, where all 7 of my kids are right now, Why didn't I think of this earlier? It's so genius. I have been struggling, you guys, for years with this block that I have. See, when I first started my business, started coaching people who want to reverse type 2 diabetes and stop relying on medications alone to control blood sugars, I had days of alone time at my house when my children would go to school. But for various reasons, I haven't enjoyed that for a couple of years, and I've found that my creativity flows best when I have that open, empty space, no pressure, no possibility of interruption. And so when I'm home now, I'm constantly on demand, and I feel like I need to monitor the situation. There's work in my face everywhere I go, and it's only when I'm with a client coaching that I can completely mentally detach from my responsibilities in the next room. And if I'm not doing that, I feel like I need to get in my office, get it out and get it done. And it's just not natural for me to wander in there and just hang out and create things. So I've been looking for a good solution to this for quite a while. And bam, this idea just dropped into my mind last weekend. It's like a writing retreat, and there's a hot tub, and I can DoorDash some fresh, delicious Thai food and wear my comfy pajamas and sleep through the night, and my husband can drop in for a date, and I can enjoy my coffee in the morning in silence. It is brilliant, and I'm so excited. I picked the newest hotel in town, and now I can be here with you and download a very, very important conversation. This is serious. Just kidding. I'm laughing because I have a good friend whose motto is, "Nothing serious is going on here." And it's such a great reality check, like 99.99% of the time. It's only serious if you want it to be, but if you want it to be light and just for fun, you can choose that too. It's so easy to get caught up in the illusion of things being super serious, but that usually creates energy of heaviness, strong attachment to certain outcomes, and that kind of pressure usually doesn't really work in our favor. So this is serious, but not like we can't make this an uplifting, unburdening insight that leads to profound shifts in thinking and ultimately a way of being that sends us in the direction of a miracle in our lives. Remember, doing comes from being. Action follows thoughts and feelings, which reflect our identity and our beliefs. Okay, that seems serious, but let's not get too complex, too theoretical. What I'm really wanting to do with you is have a heart-to-heart connection that helps you see, even if it's just a peek, the root cause of your blocks to getting healthy, to enjoying a healthy, vibrant, and energetic state of well-being in your body. And truly, I believe that this is the root cause of any inability to create anything you deeply desire in your life. Whether that's financial freedom, a beautiful relationship, a fulfilling career or legacy, anything that you long to enjoy in your life that is not yet in your physical reality hasn't materialized or manifested because of one core obstacle. And that is the obstacle of learning to love yourself wholly and unconditionally. It's true. Stay with me. As unlikely as you may think this is the ultimate problem, I ask you to open your mind that you may not know what you don't know. And for those of you listening to this podcast, if you had already created excellent, vibrant health at this point and you weren't working on it, you were not a work in progress in that area, there's something that you're missing, right? And so I'm asking you to take that beginner's mindset and sit with me as I show this to you. I have coached hundreds of clients, and I've been immersed in the world of coaching, self-help, personal development for many years now. And of course, I've been my own best client all this time. And I have seen over and over that any failure to build the life or circumstance of your dreams is coming down to this. It's all the ways we haven't extended ourselves the love, compassion, and forgiveness that we need to do a whole host of things required to do hard shit. Let me be more specific so you can really see what I'm trying to show you now. I will give you a number of the most common blocks I see in my clients that stops them or has stopped them in the past from healing. Number 1, not prioritizing their needs, giving away all their time, money, and energy to their families, employers, businesses, pets, clients, spouses, children, siblings, aging parents, church communities, friends, on and on, literally putting their needs last behind all these other people. They say yes to everyone and no to themselves. Number 2, not believing in themselves, speaking to themselves and thinking of themselves as failures, lacking discipline, weak, addicted, lazy, stupid, undeserving, incapable of change, too far gone, unworthy, and on and on. Number 3, quitting, lacking resilience to making mistakes, needing to be perfect, all or nothing mentality. When it gets too uncomfortable, they give up because they don't have the mental tools to keep them going in the face of their own resistance. When they mess up or go off their plan, they make it mean they're never going to succeed. Number 4, not investing in themselves, denying themselves the time and resources to gain the knowledge and skills to change their behaviors. They tell themselves it's not the right time or that they'll get to it later when they've been putting off facing their health crisis for years, even when that is also terribly inconvenient and uncomfortable. They are convincing themselves to tolerate pain and suffering. I could go on a great deal longer here, but I think this is enough to resonate with the vast majority of those who have yet to conquer their attitude and their state of compromised health that are listening right now. So let's look at this through a different lens. I think this will make my point quite evidently true. Think of someone who's very special to you. Call them into your mind, someone who you care deeply about and would do just about anything for. It could be your child, your best friend, even your dog if they mean the world to you. Get them in the front of your mind, and let's go back through my list of common blocks. I want you to consider that this person, this being you love, feels these different ways about themselves. They constantly give all their attention to everyone else's needs and demands at great cost to themselves. They don't believe they're worth taking care of. They constantly berate and diminish themselves, especially when they make a mistake or have a bad day. When they struggle to make changes consistently, they tell themselves they're always going to be sick and always going to be tired. They can't bring themselves to get the support they need to learn how to live in a way that creates health and happiness. They lie to themselves that they'll get to it or that it's not that bad. Many of you are right now seeing a situation in your life with someone you love clearly. If you could choose for this person how to move forward or what to do differently, wouldn't it be coming from a place of loving them? Yes, that's because love heals all things. It conquers all obstacles. It overcomes all fear, all lack, all suffering. It's the most powerful, enduring force in the universe. But most of us have never considered the lack of love in our relationship with ourselves. Let me tell you a quick personal story that is so much like the process my clients must undertake to find lasting freedom from metabolic disease. But you must not compare yourself to me, okay? Just look at my process. It's the same in any act of creation. I want to create a completely ripped and jacked physique this year. You can create this too, or something totally different. It's not important for my purpose in this story. The level of self-mastery that's required to accomplish this is intense, okay? It is requiring more from me than I have ever put forth. And friends, this is the true challenge. The body composition I achieve is truly just the cherry on top. It's who I become in the process that is the real prize. And it will require a greater self-love than I've ever exercised in my life before. Now, don't get me wrong. I have selected a goal or outcome that is super compelling to me. I am very motivated because I strongly desire to experience being in a body that is fit, lean, and super strong. And because I want this so much, I'm willing to change, right? What got me here is not going to get me there. I will have to change a lot. I have hired a coach. Yes, I believe in coaching. Go figure. I am learning how to lift differently and trying completely new workouts. I'm tracking all my food in great detail and accuracy. I'm prioritizing sleep and steps. I am not shooting from the hip when I'm away from home. Blah, 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 blah. You get the picture. But you know where the real magic happens? When I don't wanna. When I'm bored or hungry or crabby or feeling any certain ways that bring resistance to just following the plan that creates my desired result. And let me tell you, this is a long game. It takes years to build a body, and I have to center my mind in my long game often. It requires me to show up for my true desire, my long game, moment to moment, and to choose myself that deeply, that devotedly, that fiercely. Sometimes it's fierceness because part of me just wants to give up. That comes from an unmoving, unwavering, inexhaustible well of love. I am loving myself enough in those daily moments of resistance to show up for myself and my commitment to my desire. It's a get up and let's go conversation. I know you don't like it, but it's necessary. You'll thank me later, kind of motherly firmness. It matters too much to me to let you fail. It's a maturity, but underneath, it's a strong and powerful love. Just like the love that would drive you and me to go to the end of the earth to save the ones we love the most. And for those of you who are Christians, it's the same love that Jesus has for each one of us. Do you see what I'm saying here? If you loved yourself this way, this unconditionally, you could and you would create anything you wanted because you would do whatever it takes, no matter how long it takes. I believe that the ultimate journey is the one of loving yourself unconditionally. And that may not be a popular point of view. Many of us have been conditioned to believe or had it modeled to us our whole lives that our self-worth is built through self-sacrifice. But I believe that if you really consider this, the version of you that is created through self-sacrifice and betrayal is only a fraction of who you would be if you were nourished, healthy, and at peace within yourself. You have so much more capacity to serve and to give to others from this space. So maybe I'm opening up your mind to a gap you had not yet appreciated before. Maybe you're seeing, okay, I think I do have some work to do here. Or maybe you're seeing, oh boy, this is it. This is my problem. And it can feel like a mountain to climb. Now what, right? Now it's time to take radical responsibility for loving yourself. And here's the truth. It's a process, it's a journey, and it changes with those quiet moment-to-moment thoughts, just like any shift in your ways of being. And I'm going to teach you where to begin. I have said now for a while that if there was just one thing I could teach a client, this would be it: how to love themselves. And I truly believe that this is one of the greatest gifts of coaching, being loved as a client and loving my client as a coach. Sometimes it takes receiving unconditional love, having a coach who shows you how to love yourself through the process, who speaks to you as the capable, powerful creator that you are, who refuses to believe your stories of self-limitation. Sometimes it takes experiencing that directly to learn how to do it for yourself. To begin doing this for yourself, I'm going to share 6 steps or tools that will begin to repair and rebuild your relationship with yourself. The first one is, surprise, always the same. It's always gaining awareness. Remember, you can't change what you aren't aware of. For this, we're getting clarity on where the fractures in your relationship are with yourself. And I've collected some questions for you that will help you find those. The first one is, where is my love conditional toward myself? I remember going through a program as a new coach called Positive Intelligence, where I realized that I only felt good about myself when I was achieving. And it made sense to me when I noticed that as a child, I received positive attention when I got good grades or performed well. I had learned to give myself appreciation only when I perceived I was doing well, which meant if I perceived I was sucking at something, I would withhold love from myself. When I realized this, I was able to be kind and appreciative of myself anyways because I was conscious of it. It really was that simple. Here are some more questions to help you see where you are not loving yourself. How do I talk to myself, especially when I'm suffering, especially when I mess up? How do I take care of myself? Am I neglecting any of my needs? What are my true desires? I believe your desires are sacred. Where have I been tolerating self-sacrifice? Saying yes when I want to say no. Giving to others at my own expense. Where have I been tolerating self-abuse or self-sabotage, setting myself up to fail? These questions may reveal to you what needs to change if you intend to love yourself better. Once you see all these ways you haven't valued or cared for yourself properly, you will need to take the next step. That next step is self-forgiveness. This is crucial. I cannot overstate the healing power of forgiveness. It is required for you to repair the fracture. It's just like repairing with another that you've hurt. When we hurt another that we love, it's imperative that we express our regret and ask forgiveness. It cleanses, it heals, it repairs. And from there, you can start again without resentment, without broken trust holding you back. I believe that as we walk through life, judging others and ourselves, that we can be forgiving ourselves with each breath. It's a beautiful way to be in a state of perpetual forgiveness. I want to forgive and I want to be forgiven. To begin, I recommend sitting with yourself and either naming out loud or writing down all the ways you've betrayed yourself, abandoned yourself, not honored your true desires, or listened to yourself. I want you to get it all out or get it all down and have a good clearing session with yourself. You can speak it out loud by literally saying, I forgive myself for ... anything you feel you've done against yourself. Or you might write a letter to yourself expressing regret and extending yourself forgiveness. Either way is good, or both. And just be prepared to need to write yourself this way going forward. Anytime you're witnessing yourself falling into old patterns of self-judgment or whatever you have noticed that you've done, just bring yourself back to your intention to repair and choose again. Forgive yourself out loud if you can. I find this to be very powerful for myself. My voice carries so much power and healing energy, right? You're listening to it right now. So I place my hand on my heart, take a deep breath, and forgive myself. Lately it sounded like I forgive myself for creating lack and scarcity. I forgive myself for believing in lack and scarcity. It's such a powerful way to clear your mind and begin again, to choose a more loving approach. Again, please consider doing this as part of your way forward. It is so, so important to treat yourself with the same level of care and respect and devotion that you do with those you love. The same level as your Creator, however you conceptualize that, treats you. Just think of that for a moment. The same Creator that created the sun, snowflakes, northern lights, butterflies, sequoia trees, created you. And within each of those things, there is an infinite expression of creativity. No two are the same. Isn't it mind-blowing? You are an expression of the infinite creativity of the source of all creation. And you're irreplaceable. You're so, so deeply loved. Can you begin to love yourself even just a fraction of the magnitude that God loves you? Can you try? I remember when this thought occurred to me, and it brings tears to my eyes to remember that. The next step I will offer you will help you begin to do that. It's something I've done and still do. I want you to find a photo of yourself as a small child. Mine is my kindergarten school photograph. It's good if you choose one where you can see and experience your own essence, your own innocence and purity. Mine is especially ideal because my own girls look like me at that age. When I look at myself at that age, I see both my own perfection and my children's, right? When you put all your attention and become fully present with your child or your grandchild or a child you love, there is nothing but wonder at their perfection. I'm told it's especially good if it's your grandchild. I don't know that yet firsthand, but I'm really looking forward to that. You're in awe of the miracle that they are, and it's undeniable. I want you to experience yourself this way, to hold yourself blameless and worthy and missing nothing. The easiest place to start is to see yourself as your child self before all the judgment and perceived failures. I placed my picture of my 5-year-old self in my office, my sacred space. And the more I remember her, the more I connect with her, and it becomes easier and easier to forgive myself and acknowledge how lovable I am. I often tell my children, one or another of the 7, that there's nothing they could ever do that would cause me to stop loving them. It's impossible. And this is how you are loved too. Your job is to simply acknowledge that and learn to be that. I love the saying, no one is worthy of my judgment, and everyone is worthy of my love, especially me. Okay, we're really getting into it, right? If you feel yourself becoming emotional listening to this, please allow it. You have to feel it to heal it. When emotion is rising within you, it is literally yourself getting your own attention about something that is meaningful. Emotion, energy in motion, it's arising from within your own being. It's there to deliver a message, and it's important that you listen. If someone you love comes to you with something important or painful going on for them, what is your response? To stop what you're doing and give them your full attention. You listen with your entire being. It's the same when you're loving yourself. You're deep listening for yourself, wanting to understand and see yourself without judgment. Tell me everything. I want to understand. Oh, isn't that the most loving act? To fully witness another in their pain without judging, just loving them as they are. I want to invite you to practice this with yourself. And it's actually the first step in the next tool I want to give you. This is actually taught as a practice called mindful self-compassion, introduced by Kristen Neff and Christopher Germer. This framework of kindness toward yourself is a crucial component of becoming resilient and successful in healing yourself and your body, or really achieving any major goal in your life. For some of you, how you respond to messing up is your greatest stumbling block. It's the Achilles heel, the thing that leads to giving up or self-sabotaging behavior. If you find yourself stuck in that pattern of starting and stopping again, you could just be missing this crucial tool that allows you to keep going when you have made a mistake. When you get off track, whether it's, giving into cravings, getting an A1C result that doesn't meet your standards, gaining 5 pounds after a trip, not getting your workouts in for a couple weeks, something that feels like a setback, and you have feelings about that, frustration, disappointment, feeling of defeat, guilt, shame, it's important that you give yourself permission and space to hear what's going on for you inside. Remember, tell me everything. I want to understand. Be a safe place for yourself to be completely honest. It's the only way you're actually going to see what is true for you. You will discover all kinds of things about your thinking and beliefs. Let's take an easy, relatable example. Let's say you have a doctor's appointment coming up and your labs aren't going to be ideal. You're probably going to have an uncomfortable conversation with your doctor. Your doctor might judge you, which could show up as disappointment or alarm. Who knows? They'll probably want to start new medication, and you aren't really willing to go that route just yet because you can fix this without taking more drugs. And when you think about this, you feel dread and a little shame. Why? You stop to hear yourself. Oh, I'm feeling dread about this upcoming meeting with my doctor. I'm feeling annoyed and embarrassed with myself for allowing this to come to this point. Let's get even clearer now that you've actually identified the feelings that you're having. We're deeply listening right now. Ask why. Why am I feeling dread? Well, because my doctor is going to pressure me to agree with them that I need drugs, that they were right about me, I can't do it on my own. And I'm believing that they have some kind of power over me. I'm giving them power over my choices, or I'm fearing what they may think of me, especially if I object or resist. That's interesting. Oh, and I'm feeling annoyed with myself for not prioritizing my self-care. I haven't kept up with my own needs, and I've let those fall to the bottom of my list of priorities. Oops. And the embarrassment is from judging myself that I should know better, that I've failed at doing what is necessary and I've gotten myself into this situation. I don't like that. Okay, here comes step number 2. It's what we do after we get complete clarity on why we feel all these ways. You now see yourself in your experience. Here, we're going to extend ourselves acceptance. We can humanize and normalize our reaction to that circumstance. We can just say, yes, this is normal and understandable. It's normal to feel pressured by my doctor and uncomfortable standing my ground when they don't agree. It's normal to get off track from time to time and to be reminded of what is most important in the big picture of my life. I'm glad my health matters to me and that I'm not okay continuing to abandon my needs and myself. The last step after you have neutralized your reaction by relating to yourself and accepting yourself is to ask, now what do I want to do about it? Now, this is where you take a step forward instead of staying stuck in self-judgment and avoidance. It can look any way you want it to. It might simply be forgiving yourself. It might be hiring a coach or finally getting into your calendar and scheduling your workouts or turning your phone off at a healthy bedtime every night. It's the next constructive step to getting back on track. This is why a practice of self-compassion is so effective at creating resiliency. You keep going instead of avoiding and getting stuck. It's exactly what you would do for your brother, sister, friend, loved one if they were stuck in a ditch, beating themselves up or doing absolutely nothing about their problem because they can't see a way out. We cannot create anything useful from a place of self-judgment and self-contempt. And this is not always soft and soothing, It can be firm and confronting, right? Sometimes we're loving someone by saying the hard things and challenging what we feel is limiting us. It can be a get real, poop or get off the potty kind of moment. And when it's done from love, it feels supportive, not punishing. The last two tools I want to give you are bonuses to what I've already laid out so far. They are love in action. And these are about setting boundaries and building trust with yourself. I would focus on these after you've given your full attention to the first 4 tools that I've offered you. Boundaries are about protecting yourself, and you can even set boundaries with yourself. A great one to start with is to set a boundary with yourself that when you speak to yourself, it'll be gentle. You will no longer be harsh and mean to yourself. You won't speak to yourself any less respectful or thoughtful than you would another human being. This is an excellent boundary. With this boundary, you are refusing to attack yourself. Wow, what an idea. It seems so obvious when you are aware of it, but for most people, literally 99% of everyone walking around, they are completely unconscious to the fact that they're speaking to themselves this way. Where do you need to set boundaries with yourself? Where are you treating yourself in a harmful way? Next, where are you allowing others to treat you poorly? Are you allowing your employer or your business to dictate all your time and energy such that you have none left to tend to your own needs? Do you do this with your spouse or your family? Keep showing them that it's perfectly acceptable for them to override your decisions that protect your health and well-being. Are you people-pleasing so hard that you're paying with your health, your peace, your life? Come on, where have you taught others that your needs are unimportant? It's time to clean that up and erect some boundaries. Boundaries are there to protect yourself, not as a way to control others. It's not a demand, a rule for others to follow. It's simply a way for you to know where your line is and what you will do if it is crossed. You don't even have to announce it or have it be known to anyone other than yourself. But it's really important that you know how you will act if it is crossed. It's not a boundary if you won't act when it's crossed. It's just a preference. The 3 components of a real boundary are 1, the line. What protects your emotional, physical, energetic, or moral well-being? That place that gives you peace. This needs to be specific. So examples would be things like, I won't tolerate yelling at me. I won't eat foods that trigger binging. I won't eat things that my body doesn't tolerate to appease others. The second component is the recognition. You have to know when it's been crossed, and that requires self-awareness. Sometimes we'll just feel it in our body. It might feel like pressure or anger. You might know because you respond certain ways when they've been crossed, like shutting down, over-explaining, self-punishing. So an example is when I overeat, I withhold food from myself for the rest of the day. Or when I overgive my time and energy to work at night, I doom scroll and snack and don't go to bed at a reasonable time. The third component is your response. This is where most people collapse. A boundary requires If X happens, I will do Y. It's about what you will do, not what someone else will do. For an example, if yelling continues, I leave the room or I hang up the call. Another example, if I overeat, I will forgive myself, learn from the situation, and plan my next meal with intention. If I don't eat mindfully when I go to social events, I will just eat a healthy meal before I go. Internal boundaries with yourself build self-trust, and they must be paired with self-compassion. Otherwise, they just are like self-policing. The tone matters a lot. We're not going for, "You're doing it again, stop." But we don't abandon ourselves like that anymore. Boundaries protect well-being because they reduce resentment by reducing self-betrayal. Resentment looks like, I said yes when I meant no. I expected someone to read my mind. I abandoned myself to preserve harmony. Once you decide on a boundary, you can test it by asking yourself, is this protecting my well-being or trying to control someone? Am I willing to follow through calmly? If they don't change, can I still uphold my response? This one is crucial because boundaries are about your behavior, not theirs. And it might not be popular or well received when you erect a new boundary. Others who have become accustomed to you sidelining your self-care for their own benefit might resist your boundary. And it makes sense, right? If you've always allowed your family to dictate where you eat out and suddenly you're not available for margaritas and chips and salsa, they might object. It's okay. You can let them. You do you, boo. And they will learn and adapt. Consider that you leading yourself this way could teach them something very valuable for themselves. Oh, it's okay to take care of my own needs, even when everyone else doesn't like it. Imagine that. If you're struggling with boundaries, just know it's completely, totally normal. Like, it's normal to fear losing connection with another or to feel guilty prioritizing yourself in a world that teaches that love requires self-sacrifice. At its core, boundary work is self-worth work. The last tool I want to share with you is about building trust with yourself. Becoming someone you can depend on to follow through, a person who keeps your commitments to yourself. I thought about this not very long ago. I had a client who would often come to sessions reporting that they didn't follow through on anything that they had set intention to act on in the previous session. And as their coach, I met them with complete compassion, curiosity, loving them enough to open a safe space to examine, why don't they do what they want to do for themselves? And I reflected on myself in that space later. Why am I able to agree with myself that I'm going to do something and consistently follow through? Why is it that I can commit so strongly that it's good as done? Good as if I had promised to do it with someone else that I love and respect. A lot of us resonate with this. We keep our commitments to other people, but we don't with ourselves. Now, there's the key. I remember one time I was listening to a podcast in the car with my 3 kids in the back, and this coach was saying that he wants to be in such integrity with himself. He wants to be his word so much that if he says chair, a chair falls out of his mouth. Okay. Now, that's like a figurative statement, right? But the essence is that he creates his life and reality with his words, and he wants his word to be so powerful and intentional that it produces whatever the intention is behind it, like that. I was so struck by the boldness of that statement or that idea that I turned the podcast off in the car and I asked my 3 children in the back seat, who ranged from age 5 to 12 at the time, probably. Can you remember a time that mom said she was going to do something and I let you down, that I didn't do it? They thought and they thought for a minute or two, and they couldn't produce a single memory of that. I have been quite serious about doing what I say I will do. Even if it's just my 2-year-old, and I'm telling them I'm going to pick them up early from daycare. Why am I so emphatic about keeping my word? Because I love them so much. I don't want to let them down. And the reason why I am also able to be this way with myself is essentially the same. I love myself. I want to keep my word to myself. And so it is coming down to the same core principle: loving myself, valuing myself, respecting myself, and trusting myself. If this is an area you want to grow in, you can begin by setting achievable intentions with yourself, choosing actions that are supportive and upbuilding for yourself. It's deeper than consistency, though. It's about repairing the identity of I don't follow through. And you want to begin by choosing behaviors that you're highly confident you can follow through on. Not, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and work out at the gym Monday through Friday if you're someone who doesn't even work out yet. Rather, you want to start with something like, I'm going to walk 10 minutes after dinner at least 5 evenings a week. You don't want to do, I'm going to do 3 24-hour fasts a week when you haven't even gotten your body fat adapted yet. Rather, you want to start with, I'm going to stop snacking at work between lunch and dinner. And it needs to feel almost too easy. Every time you interrupt your old pattern and follow through on your new one, you tell yourself, I'm a person who keeps my word. With enough consistency, you create new habits. And one small shift at a time, you rewire your identity from a person who tries to a person who does. And when you don't keep your word, which is bound to happen during this process more than once, you want to repair immediately. Exercise the self-forgiveness and compassion we talked about earlier. Do you need to change how you're doing things? How can you get back on track? Self-trust grows fastest in repair because now you know, I don't disappear when I mess up. Self-trust says, I won't leave you. Self-trust isn't built on perfect streaks. It's built on returning to yourself. And through this, you become someone you can rely on. When you trust yourself, you don't need someone to come save you. You save you. That's where I want to close this conversation. I believe in you. When someone comes to work with me, I know that beyond all the knowledge and strategy, this is what we've really got to accomplish. That's essentially why people who work with me don't need me eventually anymore. We build the version of you that uses your own power to create yourself every day from a place of loving yourself. I'm loving you today and every day. I'd love to hear from you if this episode today is exactly what you needed to hear. It's the thing you didn't know you didn't know. You can reach me through my website, sarahtownley.com. See you on the next episode. Okay, don't leave yet. You're going to want to hear about this. If you love my podcast, if I'm the only sane voice you've found on this subject, if I've already helped you, you need to check out my online course. It's a start-to-finish, step-by-step video course that teaches you all the tools you need to know to beat this disease. You can find it on my website, sarahtownley.com, along with lots of other free tools that will make taking care of your diabetes so much easier. So get over there right now. See you there.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.